Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Figure Four Podcast. My name is Doug. This evening, we're going to be discussing Survivor Series, the 5 matches on the card this coming Saturday. We just wanted to get a quick show out just to have a little discussion about it. I'm going at it alone this episode. Donald had prior engagements, but he sent his picks, his predictions. So without further ado, let's get to it. All right, so the first match I'm going to get into is Carlito versus Santos Escobar. This match, I don't know. I understand the battle and the storyline with the whole NWO thing, and he turned his back on Ray and whatnot. I could see this being an opening match. It's gonna be what it is. It's just gonna kind of set a pace. I think it's gonna be a pretty hard hitting match. It's gonna be an entertaining match. I can't see Escobar losing this match, just mostly because of the way they set him up to be like a pretty good heel, turning his back on Ray. Carlito coming in, like the veteran wants to teach the young buck a lesson. I think he's going to give him a pretty good ass whooping. Like I said, it's going to be a pretty entertaining fight. But in the end, I think Escobar is going to go over. I don't think they're having this match, especially with what happened with the NWO. I don't see them making him lose to Carlito. So I'm going to go with Escobar in this match. Donald's pick actually is Carlito. I can also see too Carlito going over. Again, to kind of teach the young buck a little bit of respect, possibly, but we'll see what happens. I think it's going to be an entertaining match. And moving on, I'm going to go to the next match, the Intercontinental Championship match, Miz versus Gunther. This match is going to be this is going to be a great, great match. Gunther, the ring general, like everybody knows, he's held that Intercontinental Championship he's beaten the honky tonk man, so, take that for what you will, but he has brought legitimacy to that Intercontinental Championship again. Longest reigning champion again. Miz is coming in, what is he, like an 8-time, 9-time Intercontinental Champion. Miz has been around a long time. Good vet. I like the build up to this story. Like Miz, the wily veteran wanting one more run at the limelight, wants another title. He's on the south end of his career as well. Hasn't done a whole lot the last while aside from Miz TV. Makes a couple of appearances or whatnot. But this is going to be a great match. It's going to be an entertaining match. I can see a lot of false finishes, especially on Miz's part. That build up, like give the veteran one more Intercontinental Championship run. But I think in the end, it is going to be Gunther that comes away victorious. No disrespect to the Miz, but as long as Gunther has held that Intercontinental Championship, I don't think Miz is the guy to knock him off that pedestal. He's not ready to be knocked off, at least not by the Miz. I can see him holding on to that title going into Royal Rumble at the very least. Again, Miz going over. Donald's pick, actually, and Donald, he had texted me his picks. As much as he would love to see the Miz go over, he's got to go with Gunther. So yeah, that's the Intercontinental Championship match. Next match I'll get into is going to be Zoe Stark versus Rhea Ripley, Women's World Heavyweight Championship. This is going to be a hard-hitting match. It's going to be a good match. It's going to be entertaining. Zoe Stark, when she first started coming around, I wasn't a big fan of at all. I thought she tried too hard, trying to be something that she's not, quite frankly. And I didn't get it. She wasn't my cup of tea, but the last while seems as though she's slowed it down a little bit. She's kind of coming into her own. She's not trying as hard. She's actually out there. She looks relaxed now. Her and Rhea Ripley obviously Rhea Ripley still has a power advantage. There's no doubt about that, but they can both hit the air if they want to. Like I said, they're both powerhouses. You might see a little bit more high flying from Zoe, but it's going to be a hard hitting match. This can actually go a few different ways. It won't surprise me if Zoe wins the match. And when I say Zoe wins the match, win by a count out, disqualification, she's not going to put it to you like this. Rhea is coming out of this match with the World Heavyweight Championship. I'll actually pick her just to win the match flat out, but I think there's going to be a lot of mutual respect shown at the end of the match. But if Zoe does win, it'll be count out, disqualification, maybe set something up again down the road. Just because I don't know what's going on with that division right now. It's seems to be Zoe's kick at the can. They're giving her a pretty good push. And maybe if she does win by count out, disqualification, or whatever, might set up something else down the road for another championship match, probably at another pay-per-view. But I'm going to go with Rhea to win it. Won't surprise me if Zoe wins by count out, disqualification, and Donald's pick that he sent me, we both agreed again. He also took Rhea. Fourth match I'm going to get into now is the Women's War Games. Charlotte Flair, Bianca Belair, Shotzi, and Becky Lynch against Damage Control. So this has the potential to create a whole bunch of storylines. You look at Damage Control, and it's been kind of hinted over the last few weeks that maybe Bayley's days are numbered. It seems like they're just kind of hanging on to her because they kind of need her right now. And Bayley is so arrogant, she can't see it when even the popcorn guy in the stands can see it. Io Sky and Kairi Sane will be flying everywhere. I just got a feeling that this is if Bayley doesn't get kicked out of Damage Control on Saturday, I think the seeds are going to be set, and it's going to be pretty obvious to everyone that her days are numbered in Damage Control. And it's time, honestly, for Bayley to just go out. I can see them almost turning her face again, just because I think the whole group of Damage Control is going to turn their back, and they'll lay a lumping on her. Possibly. Like I said, it might not be this pay-per-view, but at the very least, I think it'll lay the seeds for Bayley being kicked out. Now, on the other side, you got Charlotte Flair, you got Bianca Belair, you got Shotzi, and you got Becky Lynch. Charlotte Flair is always going to be in the women's championship picture. Bianca Belair still wants that championship back, and she's made that very clear. I could see something happening. It'll be interesting to see. I don't count really Shotzi or Becky Lynch, but it'll be interesting to see if Bianca Belair and Charlotte Flair can get along in the War Games. I can see this has potential to implode on that side. Charlotte Flair is the daughter of the dirtiest player in the game. And what the Flairs want, the Flairs get. So, that being said, I am actually still going to go with Charlotte Flair, Bianca Belair, Shotzi, and Becky Lynch coming out on top. And Donald's pick actually was Damage Control. Donald is taking Damage Control to win the Women's War Games. Now, the main event. Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn, Seth Rollins, Jey Uso, and the return of the Apex Predator, Randy Orton. It seems like he's been gone for years. Randy Orton makes his return against the Judgment Day and Drew McIntyre. This match is going to be heavy hitting as far as Drew McIntyre is concerned. Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn, Seth Rollins, Jey Uso, Randy Orton. If there was ever an odd couple in professional wrestling, this is the odd couple. They're still just throwing Cody Rhodes into whatever storylines. Now, I understand that most of these guys have issues with the Judgment Day, but they need to do something with Cody to get him back on his path. I talked about this with Donald last show, probably the last 3 shows. The path to the World Championship has an awful lot of layovers. and it's getting old. Now, the return of Randy Orton is just going to make this awesome. I love Randy Orton. I'm glad he's back. I hope, honestly, he's got a championship run or two left in him. That being said, Randy Orton has been known to double cross guys. Seth Rollins is the world heavyweight champion. Now, I'm not saying that Randy Orton is going to backstab any member of his team. But when you really look at it, he doesn't have a real history with anybody here except Cody Rhodes. He was with Cody Rhodes. They had that little faction with Ted DiBiase Jr. Yeah, I don't know. I can see Randy not playing well with others eventually and kind of turning his back and wanting that World Heavyweight Championship. On the other hand, Drew McIntyre wants to get his hands on Jey Uso and also wants to get his hands on Seth Rollins to get that World Heavyweight Championship. Now, Drew has said he is not a member of the Judgment Day. And you know what? I get it. I love the promo he cut on Monday Night Raw. If you're a fan of Drew McIntyre, you get it. No explanation is needed. If you're not if you think that I have joined the Judgment Day, you were never a fan and you don't understand. Drew McIntyre does not need Judgment Day. It would be kind of cool if he did, just because I think him and Damian Priest would really, really, really butt heads. And Rhea Ripley would absolutely take the side of Drew McIntyre because he's a goddamn Viking, the size of the dude. And what's going to be interesting here is, now this is War Games. Everyone is going to get the piss beat out of them. I don't think that Damian Priest is in the mindset really now of listening to Rhea Ripley because in his own mind, he's the leader of the Judgment Day. I could see him wanting to cash in that Money in the Bank contract on Seth Rollins if the opportunity arises. And I think it'd be even funnier if Randy Orton at the same time thwarted that and gave him an RKO and Seth Rollins pins him and Damian Priest loses the match and he also loses that contract. A couple of ways this match could go. And the pay-per-view itself, I mean, looking at it, it's not bad. Again, I've said this before about some pay-per-views. It's a glorified Raw. It's a glorified SmackDown, however you want to take it. But the winners of this match, I'm going Cody, Sami, Seth, Jey, and Randy Orton. Donald also took Cody, Rhodes, Sami, Seth, Jey, and Randy. So there's only two matches Donald and I disagreed on. Pay-per-view is going to be great. It's, I shouldn't say great. Like I said, it's going to be a glorified Raw, glorified SmackDown. But just the fact that it's War Games and the history with War Games is going to make it cool. Intercontinental title match, can't friggin' wait for. It's going to be good. That's going to be a roller coaster of emotions for fans in attendance in that arena, and probably for us watching at home too. Just hoping Miz walks away with that IC title. Women's World Championship, Zoe Stark, Rhea Ripley, going to be hard-hitting, fast-paced, high impact. Going to be a fantastic, fantastic fight. Women's War Games will be good. Like I said, I'm more invested in the thought that Bayley is going to get kicked out and just get her ass handed to her by, we'll call it the new Damage Control, because that's the way things have been looking. And honestly, Carlito and Escobar, it's a filler. It's a popcorn match. Escobar is going to win. Like I said, they're going to give him a little push. Send him on his own. I don't think they would have made such a big deal out of beating up Rey Mysterio and Carlito coming out if they were just setting them to lose. And that's it, folks. Like I said, just a quick, short episode just to get us covering Survivor Series. I think it's going to be an okay pay-per-view. Donald will be back with us next show. And until then, my name is Doug. This is the Figure 4 Podcast. Thanks for tuning in and enjoy Survivor Series. I'm out.